Le Bonheur estate, which means happiness, has been really famous over decades. It's a classic wine estate in South Africa, and I remember when I arrived in the country, they had a wonderful blend. It was called Optima.
Correct.
Yeah, and combining the classic Bordeaux cultivar, the Cabernet Sauvignon, the Merlot, but it's now the new owner, which is actually French. It's a group at Vigny, the same people that own L'Avenir and other properties like Klein de Zalzi now, Ken Forrester partly. They're really trusting South Africa for the future, which makes all of us feel very good. And they decided at Le Bonheur to go for a pure Merlot. So it's a 2019 Stellenbosch wine of origin Merlot from Le Bonheur. We expect to have the same classic DNA that Le Bonheur always had. What do you have in your glass, Kathy?
I have a real deep and dark wine in the glass from the Merlot, even though it is a 2019. It is slightly starting to show degradation of colour, so the aging process is coming along, and you can almost get some of those tertiary characteristics on the nose. I know I'm particularly sensitive to it, but I'm picking up a malty character to the fruit as it begins to age, and I get red plums, but stewed red plums, not jammy, just stewed red plums, and then some meatiness and a faint mintiness as a top note on the Merlot. This characters carry through to the palate, but here my stewed plum, which is usually lovely and sweet, has had some sour plum mixed into it, and so you have this really fresh sour plum tang that finishes the wine for me, and also a little touch of licorice. I'm trying to think. I haven't really made a mental note yet of the tannins or the acids, so why don't you go on that?
I mean, to rebound on what you said, you have this very ripe plum on the middle palate, and this almost sour plum or roasted, how you said, a cooked plum.
Yes, a stewed plum as opposed to a jammy plum.
Yeah, exactly. And the malty character is as well the first sign of the wine evolving, but not evolving like getting old, evolving like starting to display its tertiary aromatic compounds. On the texture, what I like on that wine is, yes, you have this definitely sweet, juicy middle palate because, hey, we talk about Merlot here, but at the end, you have this textured, leafy, slightly green, a touch of minty finish that's supporting the wine, and probably part of it is supported by the tannins of the wood, because also the wood is far from being obvious. Maybe it's older wood and it tastes more on the palate than having some vanilla or coconut or any other spice in on the nose. Also, I could find the licorice
Good.
In it, but I can feel the wine is busy evolving, which for 2019 is the beginning of its transition. And I like the texture because it's opening your appetite, like if I need anything to open my appetite. But yes, it has this texture that makes you want to call for food with it, and however, you understand that this type of texture will be overwhelming because the tannins are not like Cabernet Sauvignon that would be more bold and more astringent. You just have this grainy acidity on the finish that's supporting the wine. Therefore, you have a much broader spectrum of food pairing for that. There's no astringency. It's just, a grainy texture.
It's kind of the wine that I'd expect to come from Le Bonheur, the classic region, and it does remind me a little bit of their old Bordeaux blend.
It's a very classic style. Don't expect a plush, overpowering, juicy, fruity Merlot. It's a classic style, but hey, they are French owners. They as well have to follow traditions. That's
That's what they promised to
That's
do.
a promise to do. So the tradition of Le Bonheur is a traditional Merlot 2019 Stellenbosch wine of origin